Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a magnetic excursion update Monday, August 25th, around 10 p.m. Mountain Time 2025. NASA's Webb Space Telescope is observing the third interstellar object we've ever witnessed, Comet 3I Atlas. And we'll show you those images in just a moment. We've got record gains on Greenland during the melt season, and a lot to talk about, including a haboob in Phoenix. How do you like them apples? And fall-like cool down is incoming for 200 million across the U.S. So buckle up, Buttercup, a lot to talk about, and keep calm. It's boom time. A fall-like cool down is incoming for over 200 million in the central eastern U.S. this week. Early in the week, the cooler air from the Rocky Mountains will arrive in the northeast, according to NOAA's Climate Prediction Center. This dramatic temperature swing will bring well below average temperatures through the end of August and into the first week of September. A September to remember. It is chilly out here. Well, and the rain has returned. Good news for us. A major dust storm hits Phoenix area. Take a look at these wild photos. But first, well, it's just a haboob. So how do you like them apples? Take a look at this onslaught of dust about to cover these homes. Absolutely spectacular footage here. And this is a pretty common phenomenon, happens about once a year in this region. Rain returns to southwest Colorado. It hasn't rained here all summer, except for a few sprinkles. Monsoonal moisture showed up behind schedule. But is it enough to decrease the fire danger? Well, it's going to apparently be raining for the next 2 days, which is good news. And we'll get to those models in just a minute. Fernando, now at 50 mile per hour maximum sustained winds, will become post-tropical in the next 24 hours and headed out to the North Atlantic. And now the full forecast. We've got areas of extreme heat and fire weather in the Pacific Northwest, heavy rain in the west and south central U.S. You can see those flood warnings out, especially in the Four Corners region where we are. These flood warnings will continue for the next 36 hours at least. And, well, cross your fingers that some of the drought will be lifted here. It is beyond parched. Extreme heat will continue across the Pacific Northwest into midweek before finally waning. Hot temperatures, dry, gusty conditions, and isolated dry thunderstorms will bring critical fire weather. Heavy rain and thunderstorms are expected to crush portions of the Southwest as well as the Sierras and the central southern plains. A series of storms will bring heavy and strong winds to southern Alaska as well. So go over to weather.gov and click on your county for more information if you're wondering what the updates mean. A quick look here at the GFS model, and we can see all this moisture in the west that has been missing all summer. Well, it's going to be lingering around here Tuesday into Wednesday, where we could see major flash flooding throughout Utah and Nevada, as well as the Four Corners region here in Colorado. We see a tropical storm moving up along western Mexico here by midweek. It's really not going to affect anything in particular and just dissipate there by the end of the week, Saturday. Let's take a look at the total accumulated precipitation. We've got lots of wildfires in the west, and we can see that all this moisture is going to be very helpful in putting all those fires out. It's just an inch or more, but that's really all you need to raise the humidity, increase the moisture, and put out those fires. So good news there. We could have some flooding rains throughout East Texas, as well as most of Louisiana, including the southern half, could be picking up 10 to 14 inches by the first week of September. Those are some spectacular numbers. So heed the warnings and be prepared for flooding. Surface conditions on Greenland are epic. We've got huge gains during the melt season yesterday. Here are those numbers. It is 2.5 gigatons gained yesterday alone. This is during the melt season. We gained 2.5 gigatons of ice on eastern Greenland. I'm sure mainstream media is not covering this whatsoever. Seismic update. No real quakes of note. The Kamchatka continues to rumble with a major aftershock at 6.1. Overall, low-level activity worldwide. And that brings us to Worldwide Volcano News. The website has become garbage. Every day they update every single erupting volcano or volcano in unrest. So you really can't get through the data. There's so much of it. It's absolutely stupid. If you're listening, Worldwide Volcano News, go back to the way you've been doing it for the last 10 years. This is just a lot of extraneous garbage information that you're posting that no one needs to look at. We do have a few volcanoes of note to report on that are not part of this stupid list. And we may just change the format and find somewhere else to get the actual eruption information on the last 24 hours. We've got Liwa-Tobi, an eruption reported today, a huge list of nonsense again, and that brings us to Etna to 16,000 feet today. We've also got Reventador to 14,000 feet, Sonashima to 6,000 feet, Ibu puffing and passing an eruption reported today. Semeru to 15,000 feet. Liuotolo, 6,000 foot puff there. And that is the list for the day because Worldwide Volcano News has just ruined their own website. Good job, guys. Quick look over at space weather. We can see this coronal hole. That is the only threat for space weather in the next 48 hours. Maybe minor instability up to KP4. Where are we at now? Nowhere. So none of that coronal hole is affecting us. It's north of the equator. I don't think it's going to do absolutely anything, in my opinion. Yeah. Here's a look at the disk. We've got this big sunspot region, several other regions turning around the limb, and we do have continued flaring today. Up into the moderate M flare levels, we have had an M4.5 and an M3.3 over the last 24 hours. Not any large CMEs headed our way as these are impulsive, which is why the 3-day geomagnetic forecast is all quiet. Now, Comet 3I Atlas is the third interstellar object to be imaged by humans. NASA's Webb Space Telescope is now observing the interstellar comet, and some interesting things have been noticed. It's outgassing carbon dioxide, which is not typical of most comets, but this comet has increased in intensity at the farthest out ever recorded, which means this is an electric comet. No, ladies and gentlemen, it's not sublimating ice. That's a fairy tale. And why they keep telling us that fairy tale over and over again when we've been to comets and they contain no ice makes zero sense. Either everyone is stupid or everyone is complicit on the lie. Period. Comet Atlas will approach us at its closest point in October and November, and we'll have more data available as they crunch the numbers. DNA sequencing of ancient remains by Colombian scientists reveal another unknown human lineage. And this one isn't old. It's not like 100,000 or 200,000 years ago. It's just 6,000 years old in South America. An entire lineage of humans that are unknown. Now, if you've been watching our show for some time or just our recent podcasts on Magnetic Reversal News where we discuss this, or even our podcast we just did the other day with this and that and Josh and Zach, what you're going to glean is that we don't know anything about hominid history. We probably know less than 1% of all the human-like species that were on Earth ever. That's how bad the fossil record is. So to discover something just 6,000 years ago in Colombia that is a lineage with DNA we've never seen before is not shocking whatsoever. What it means is, well, we don't know nothing, especially about human history. And if you want to watch that awesome podcast we did with this and that and Josh and Zach, it is up on X. It's up on This and That with Josh and Zach. It's also up on Oppenheimer Ranch Project on X, at Diamond the Dave. So the link will be below. Go get it. It's over 2 hours of fascinating information. We didn't even prepare. We just went for it for 2 hours, and we had a lot of good conversation. I think you'll enjoy the podcast. And that's a boom to knowledge. Hit the thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 100,000 before the end of the year. And that, well, seems impossible because of how shadow banned we are. So we need you to share this video, hit the subscribe. And even if you hit the notification bell, you probably won't be notified because they hate us. We hate them. That's why both of our channels are over on Rumble. So if you can, migrate over to Rumble and follow us there for exclusive content that we don't show here. And that's a boom. See you at Crestone, the second weekend of September. September to remember.